got my backpack in it, my clothes. There's some blankets, food, utensils for eating, items for cooking on. And this one here, I think it's all my tent equipment.
We met Mark a few months back when police and city workers moved into Oppenheimer Park to remove people who are what the city calls illegally camping. But for those that have nowhere else to go, they call this park home. At the time, they only had him remove his tent during the day. Mark Menard is a trained and experienced heavy equipment operator, but has found it challenging to find an affordable place to rent in Vancouver. He also says that he hasn't been able to find work either because he constantly has to watch his belongings from getting stolen or thrown away by city officials. And just recently, that's exactly what city workers did.
It got to the point where they just kept taking my stuff. And then it got to the point now when they came the last time, they took my bins and everything in them, my tarps, my tent, my blankets, my clothing, my food. I was left with one bag and a backpack, and that's it.
And with Vancouver now deemed the most expensive city to live in Canada, how are those on low income and facing multiple barriers able to afford to live here? The Carnegie Housing Project says houselessness could jump by 50% by 2030 if swift action isn't taken immediately.
Stopping the loss of modular housing by either finding new sites or extending the leases on the current sites in the city, so we're not actually losing housing as we desperately need it. Stopping the loss of SROs to rents by implementing vacancy control in SROs, changing the definition of social housing to one that actually includes shelter rate, which is people that need the housing the most.
The city has 860 units of modular housing. 144 of them are boarded up in the middle of a housing crisis. The ones behind us, 39 more, we don't know where they're going to go, but those people are being evicted now. So the city needs to find sites for all of the modular housing.
And with these modular housing sites originally temporarily set up on city-owned lots that weren't in development at the time, Swanson and other advocates say action needs to be taken immediately. The City of Vancouver provided the following statement. There are no new temporary modular housing sites underway. The TMH program was always intended to be temporary as the city prioritizes permanent housing solutions. The original license terms vary by location. When a lease of a city site approaches expiry and the license cannot be extended due to pending redevelopment or the site or bylaw limitations, BC Housing and the operator work together to relocate residents to other affordable supportive homes. However, Devin O'Leary says, despite the assurances from the city, he says things aren't moving ahead in his opinion.
Things have been made invisible, I would say, and the harm is definitely higher. It's always stressful for people that are being displaced. There hasn't been any sort of indication of more housing and any care really for that. So yeah, it hasn't gotten any better.
Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.